Technical English.
Tiếng Anh ngành kỹ thuật.
Unit 12. Opportunities. Recording 32.
Let's get started then. There's a lot to discuss. Peter, you've got a list of 4 technologies that cars can use.
Well, 5 actually, if you look at the report in front of you.
Oh.
First, solar power. That's an existing technology, which is proven. But there will be technological improvements in the future.
Such as?
The Chinese are developing lighter panels, and also the cost is coming down at a rate of about 5% per annum.
That's good news.
Mm.
So, companies are at the prototype stage. Has any company started mass production?
No, not yet. Next, battery exchange, which takes place at switch stations.
Can you remind me?
Yes. You drive into a service station with a nearly flat battery, your battery is removed, and an exchange battery, fully charged, is placed in your car.
OK. So, a few things to sort out, but possible.
Again, the cost of the system is likely to fall, and new generations of batteries will provide longer ranges and reduced weight. But infrastructure will be needed. And this is a chicken and egg situation.
Sorry. Chicken and egg? What's that?
The government won't subsidise investment in infrastructure, that is the provision of switch stations, until there are enough electric cars to use it, and...
And people won't buy electric cars until the infrastructure is in place, of course. And companies won't want to make them either.
No, but one switch station scheme is already in operation in Denmark, and more are planned.
Oh.
Now, the third system on my list is moving ahead rapidly. That's domestic battery recharging with plug-in systems. The research and development has been done, the prototypes have been tested, and one company is already in production.
So it's up and running?
And running very well, thank you. The company is planning to produce 50,000 units next year and 200,000 units worldwide the year after. It's got a range of 160 kilometres and a top speed of 140 kilometres per hour. A small recharging infrastructure exists, but only in a few countries.
Well, that's better than nothing. Anything new and fancy, like non-contact recharging?
No, it's simple plug-in recharging. But listen to this. They've got the recharging speed down. It charges to 80% of capacity in under 30 minutes.
I'm impressed.
Next system, the hydrogen fuel cell car. Now, this system hasn't made much progress since we last discussed it. The R&D has been done and prototypes exist, but nobody has any plans to manufacture.
And, of course, the same problems with putting an infrastructure in place.
Exactly. That won't happen for a long time. That's my guess.
So, what's the 5th system, then?
It's the hybrid petrol-electric engine that we all know about.
Ah.
All the big manufacturers have got a hybrid in their range, and the number of different hybrid models on sale is expected to rise from 11 to 52 very soon.
52 hybrid models to choose from. That's a huge change.
And the market share of hybrids is predicted to rise from 2.5% to 4.2% in the next 2 years.
So everything's in place for servicing and repairs then. But it's not a zero-emission car, is it? It still pumps out emissions.
But it's a low-emission car. And until we've got good zero-emission systems up and running, and have got the infrastructure in place to keep them running, we're going to need those hybrids for a few years longer. It's intermediate low-emissions technology, but it works.
Unit 12. Recording 33.
Peter, will you give us a presentation of your predictions for the short-term, medium-term and long-term use of these cars, please?
Sure. If you look at this slide, you'll see I've got predictions for 3 different types of economy, depending on the types of energy that are readily available in that zone. First, we have solar power, which is the energy of choice in the tropics, of course. Then, in the next row down, we have countries with an abundant supply of cheap electricity generated by hydroelectric or geothermal schemes, or a combination. These are countries like Switzerland, Norway and Iceland. And of course, there are African countries with big hydroelectric schemes too. Finally, we have countries with a developed nuclear power industry, which currently include France, the USA and Russia. In the tropics, we expect that solar power will continue as the primary system in the short, medium and long term. It is, of course, the cheapest system to run, and it's the best system for the environment too. In the second group of countries, there is likely to be a rapid switch in the short term to battery recharging, which is the least expensive system to buy. This will initially be with domestic plug-in systems, but we may get non-contact systems too. This switch will take place because no additional infrastructure is required. However, in the medium and long term, we can expect a switch to battery exchange systems as the infrastructure required for this is built up and extended. It's probably the most convenient system for car drivers as well. Finally, in the nuclear countries, I expect a similar pattern. In other words, a rapid switch in the short term to battery recharging. Again, in the medium term, there is likely to be a switch to battery exchange systems. However, in the long term, there could be a switch to hydrogen fuel cell systems because of the type of energy output from nuclear power stations. This is not a firm prediction, but a possibility. But the major disadvantage of this system is that it requires the greatest investment in infrastructure.
Unit 12. Recording 34. Nouns. Climate change.
Atmosphere. Concentration. Cyclone. Emission. Gigaton. Glacier. Ice cap. Pattern. Prediction. Trend.
Adjectives.
Convenient. Exceptional. High performance. Huge. Massive. Renewable. Similar. Spectacular. Staggering. Technological. Tremendous.
Ngoại ngữ chuyên ngành.com